Oh, what was that? I don't even know. Internet! What's up, Internet? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you feeling strong? Are you feeling good? Because I gotta tell you, we got a new reigning champion. We've got a new reigning champion to the chat. Philip Emerson. Hold on. What am I doing? All right. Hold on, I had to click the thing over there. Sorry. I forgot to push the button over there. Phil Emerson, first to the chat today, displacing our long-standing champion, Frank Dominguez. Where is Frank? Everyone is wondering where Frank is. I don't know. I don't know where Frank is. I hope he's okay. But to hear today on a hump day, middle of the week, Wednesday, the 12th month of the year, December 6th, Philip Emerson, quickly followed by Smutzig Disc, Jim Meeker, Candy Overhauls, Sarah Konopko, Mellow Moogle. Oh, Caleb is here. Caleb's in the house. Good to see you, Caleb. How you doing? Always watching, keeping up on what's going on. I got to move the camera here a little bit. There we go. I'm over. I'm a little off to the side today. I got to move the camera. I got to relocate the camera a little bit. Sorry about that. But who did I say last? Sarah Konopko? Yeah. Jeffro's here. Wushu Jimmy Brown is here. Good to see you. Ashton Fitzgerald as well. Nisi of the North is here in the chat. TC Guppies is here. Nathan Hazlitt. Spencer Ballard. Kevin Keener's lurking today. He's getting his bus ready. He's getting a bus and a train and all sorts of stuff up there. Don't get your beard caught in a bus. Don't get your beard caught in a bus, brother. Don't do it, man. Big Joe's Fish Room is here. Dank Tanks is here. Douglas Medellin is here. The cartel is here. James Neesham, how you doing? Good to see you. Mateo is here from Idaho. Good to see you. Phil Emerson's using his 2400 baht modem dial-up action today. That's pretty good. Hopefully you got the rotary phone, because that always just felt legit back in the day when my sleeves are super wet today, and I'm trying to get them. They're stuck like all the way up in my armpit because my whole half of my shirt's wet. I don't know if you guys can notice the contrast between this area over here is light and this area over here is darker, because half of me is wet and I didn't have I thought, oh hey, I'll have time to change my shirt. Nope, I did not have time to change my shirt, so I'm half wet today. Just half wet. It's all good. It doesn't really matter to you guys, because I got my coffee here. We got the internet's fired up. We've got the carburetor fully engaged, fully flooded. But on a bit of a side note, which I'll get into in just a second here, because I want to say hi to some of the other people here in the chat, but I'll go to that tangent here in just a moment. But Fish and Shrimp by Rich is here from Toledo, Ohio. I like it when people give a shout where they're at. I like that. Helps me keep track of like where people are coming from. Tim Lewis is here. I think I already said hi to Dank Tanks, but he says hashtag Where's Frank. I think the hashtag Where's Frank, we should try to get that trending on Twitter, right? I think in the Twitter sphere, Where's Frank? I don't know. I mean, I have a Twitter account. I never use it. So to you guys out there that really like Twitter, feel free to badmouth me on there because I never look at it. I never ever. I think I tweeted once. Like a million years ago. I don't like Twitter. I'm not a huge fan of it, personally. Michael R. Hartley. I almost said that wrong. Michael R. Hartley is here. Frank must have fallen out of the attic and off of the roof. No, but Sunday I thought I was going to fall off of the roof. I had to go up there and move the antennae so I could get the Seahawks game. And boy, howdy, it's been cold here. It's been a cold streak out in Tacoma, Washington. Everything was frozen this morning. All this stuff was frosty, frozen. I was worried about the fish room maybe getting too cold. I went in there, and it was 67 degrees. It was 1 degree colder than it normally is, 68. So I think the rampant insulation that I did on the fish room there, it's working just fine. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So that's working, and not a big deal, even though it's cold. Wyatt Aquatics is here. Eric Gone Mad, what's up? The winter net. I like that. Biddy Brown, what are you doing? Come here, buddy. I don't know why she's barking. There's no way the UPS guy's here. There's just no way. Let's see here. I think I said hi to most people. James Neesham, Turbo Fish, what's up? Of course, I said hi from Jeffro. Jeffro hails from the Ozarks, but lives in Ozarkaloosa. Oskaloosa. Oh, no, Oskaloosa, Iowa. Oh, all right. Phil's out of Kansas. That's right. I remember that Phil Emerson was out of Kansas. Spencer, hail to the Michigans. Wow. This pocket is super wet, and it's got a bunch of nonsense in it. I guess that probably wasn't supposed to get wet. That's my insurance claim number. Whoops. Which, by the way, those insurance guys still haven't gotten back to me. I still don't know what's going on with my truck, other than the appraiser guy said that it's going to be totaled because the damage to my truck was too much, and none of the people have gotten back to me. They haven't even called me back, so... is that a little bit frustrating? Yeah, it's totally frustrating that they haven't even called me back, so I don't even know what's going on with my truck. I can't tow a trailer right now. I can't fix it because I don't even know what the insurance people are going to do, but I probably would have pulled the bumper off and started repairing it so I could put the trailer hitch back on it, but I don't know what's going on with the insurance. I don't know what they're going to do, so they haven't, like I said, I haven't even been able to talk to anybody. Every time I call them, it's like, leave a message, so I do. And now my messages are starting to get more and more angry. So now I'm wondering if they don't necessarily want to call me back because of that. I don't know. I get to wonder. And then now, so the extension that I was calling has now turned into someone else's extension. So I don't even know what is going on, but today I left a message, just call me back and tell me what's going on. Like, just call me. Just call me and say something. Just call me and say words. I don't even care at this point. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my truck. I can still drive it around, but like I said, I can't tow my trailer, so that's going to be a problem. But I'll figure it out one way or another. But I wish they would just call me back. It's just frustrating. Like, your whole customer service thing is that you're just supposed to call back, right? I don't know. It's very odd. Mateo coming out of Alatonia, Idaho. That's my favorite area, actually, is the imaginary area in between Idaho, Wyoming, and whatever that other one is, Montana. That's my favorite area over there. And not to spoil it for you, but that's where I plan to move. That's where we're planning to move. That's where we're going to go. So if somebody wanted to get ahead of the game, if somebody wanted to get way ahead of the game, they could move there now, and then they'd be ready. Like if, you know, for when Vicky and I move to that area. But I'm not going to tell you exactly where. And that's sort of like a probably 3,000 square mile area or something like that. But I won't tell you where. I won't tell you where, but that area. And then you'd be our neighbors, right? Let's see. Let me catch up with the chat here a little bit. Jay's Aquatics is here. Mary Beth Mabe, how you doing? Ryan Brown. Crips growing baby leaves. Why? It was a big plant and brown algae came back. Crips growing baby leaves. Why? It was a big plant and brown algae came back. I'm confused. I'm 100% confused by that statement. I don't know what to say with that. Let's see. Phil saying them fires in California are horrible, but should heat the atmosphere. That's crazy. Those fires are completely terrible, and shout out to everybody down there. Just stay safe. You could always rebuild a house, all that kind of stuff. I was listening to Joe Rogan earlier, and they were he had what's that guy's name? He's a fighter. He does like the Fight for the Forgotten charity. Doi, it's like right there in the front of my head. I don't know. I follow him on Instagram. I feel like an idiot right now. But I was listening to them, and they were saying that the fires down there are like a fire hurricane, I guess, because it's so windy that it's just driving the fire all over the place. What's his name? Justin Wren. Haha, that's his name. I just remembered it. Oh, and Ryan Brown. Hey, Jerry, I love that. And Justin Wren. He actually, Ryan Brown posted it. Just as I remembered it, I just read Ryan Brown's post there. But yeah, Justin Wren. If there's a charity that you guys are looking for, Justin Wren has a great one. That's the Fight for the Forgotten. And I think as I have an Amazon page that you guys banner that you guys can click through. I think the Fight for the Forgotten has an Amazon banner also, so that would be a way. So maybe you want to support this show and the stuff like that, and all of the nonsense that goes into the show and stuff. That's one way that you could do it. Go to darkstararts.com, go through the banner, but always make sure that if you're buying stuff through Amazon, to go through somebody's banner. And maybe you just want to give to a charity. That Fight for the Forgotten charity is awesome. Those guys go out to the Congo and teach how to drill new wells for the people that drink water down there, for the people that drink water. Yes, all of the people that drink water. They teach them how to dig wells for clean water for people to drink, and very, very interesting. Very interesting. And as I mentioned yesterday, my neck and back are all sorts of out of whack, but it's feeling better today, feeling better than yesterday, so I'm hoping tomorrow I'll be back to normal. Let me catch up on the chat here a little bit. Okay, on a side note, I wanted to mention that so today's video is going to be weird. I'm gonna have to click through it and try and edit it on the fly, sort of. Because, okay, so the editing software that I use is Sony Vegas. Sony Vegas came out with a new supported software called, so the version that I currently use is 14. The new one that is out is 15. So they're basically not going to support 14 anymore. And, so it finally got to the point where I just went, okay, I just need to get 15. It was on sale, but it was still $200 to basically get on the actual program that will be being used or being updated and stuff like that right now. So that was $200 down the drain. And then so I went in and I edited the video and I got it all ready to render. And if nobody knows what rendering is, that means that, so I edit the video and I make all the cuts and then I push it all together and all that kind of stuff. And then it needs to make that into a video, into its own video, which is the rendering process. And the rendering process was going to push us to about 4:30 start time. So it was like, yep, can't do that. So basically learning a new software that's just a new version of the old software. And like I said, I just ran short on time. So what we're going to do is kind of just click through the video and talk about some of the stuff that's going on. As I'm sure a lot of you noticed that the episode 623 is this one, Reef Rock Aquascaping. And I'm going to show you guys some of what craziness goes into reef work and stuff like that. And I always want to make sure to put the caveat in there. I might be considered a reef expert by some people's opinion, but just bear in mind that my reef tank is my hobby tank. This is my hobby tank, okay? So when I talk about the reef tank, when I talk about this kind of stuff, this is my hobby portion, okay? This is not something that I would consider that I've invested what's the word I'm looking for? An extreme amount of effort in necessarily like research and stuff like that. It's always something that I've just done as a hobby. It's something I've done for fun. As you guys know, I worked in a reef store for a certain amount of time. Quite a while back and things along those lines. I'm pretty knowledgeable in it, so a lot of people would say, oh yeah, he's like an expert, but bear in mind, I don't have any kind of saltwater company. I don't have anything along those lines. My main work type stuff is aquarium plants and freshwater aquariums, freshwater lights, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, which is the main thing that I like to focus on, because I'm working on conjoining agriculture and aquariums together. That is my huge project that is ongoing. So when I go into plant stuff and all that kind of stuff, I always try to put the caveat in there that I look at that stuff very seriously. I research it crazy. I go way too far in the research and stuff like that. Now the salt and ocean stuff I love, and I'll spend time for sure researching and reading stories and trying to find out what's going on and stuff like that. But I don't have any real life goals necessarily to be like a marine biologist or any of that kind of stuff. So that's not necessarily where I would say that, if my dedicated expertise time is spent screwing around with plants, figuring out how plants are going to benefit people and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to some of those people out there that might go like, oh, hey, this guy's kind of an idiot when it comes to reef stuff. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know about in reefs. There's a bunch of stuff I do know, but that's one thing I would always like to remind people that I would not say that my extreme expertise is in reefs and stuff like that. I'm constantly thinking about substrates and, and plants and stuff like that. But the reef stuff is fun. I love doing it. And and so just as a reminder, if there was somebody out there that I would recommend, because somebody was asking me about where are some of my reef starter videos and stuff like that. I do have a bunch of those kind of videos up and stuff like that, and I do have a tendency to give a lot of people advice. I can walk people through stuff. I can help people diagnose things that are going on with their reefs and stuff like that. But it's like I said, the agriculture stuff, that is my long-term goal. My long-term goal is realistically to own a gigantic aquaponic farm. I mean, that really is where I'm motivated to go, which is another one of those reasons that I want to move to the Wyoming, Idaho, Montana area. That's where I'm going to be going to, and hopefully Vicky and I are going to be able to carve out some real cool stuff out there. That's where most of our stuff is going. So I always like to put that caveat in there that the reef stuff I do is for fun. It's not. I don't go at it like a maniac like I do with with planted tanks or shrimp or any of that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind and take some of the stuff with a grain of salt, because I might be one of those guys that goes like, yeah, that's Fiji rock, and it's not, you know, because whoops. So, but I do have a lot of experience with reef stuff and things along those lines, and the ocean and all that stuff. I just always like to remind people that that I'm a great resource, but I'm not necessarily like the end all be all, right? And if there was one group of people that I could direct you to that does have extreme experts working at it, it would be Bulk Reef Supply. That is my favorite go-to if I'm having a real problem. Email those guys, or even look through their YouTube videos and stuff like that. Their YouTube videos are phenomenal. They're really well produced. They put in a lot of time and effort and money behind them to make sure that they're really on par. I think if I ever have a recommendation, it's to go watch some of those guys' videos. The Bulk Reef Supply is fantastic, and those dudes are all super cool dudes. And mad props to those guys, because you know, it's just fantastic. They just do a great job. As Eve Deigel is here. Where's Eve been? Eve Deigel. He says, hey, 73 people watching. Smash that like button. It's only at 24. That's weird. Well, we only have 70 people watching now, so 4 people didn't like it. They left. But that doesn't account for the other 56 people. 46 people. Do I know how to maths? No. I don't know how to maths today. It has been a hectic, weird, nonsensical day, you guys. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it so much. It's been pretty good. Let's see. It's at 32. Oh, it's gone up. It's gone up because some people liked it, which is cool. Okay, so we talked about the weather, which I wanted to mention that it's super cold here. Even though it's fiery in California, it's super cold here. Not terrible. It's not terribly cold or anything along those lines, but it's just cold enough. And I've having to, if you guys don't know, I have a super old shop, so I've having to been run don't tell Vicky, but I've been running the trash. We have a wood stove out there. I almost said it was a trash burner, but it's not. We have an old wood stove out there, so that's the wood stove has been what's keeping me warm. So not only am I soaked in salt water, but I also smell kind of campfire-y. So it's been an interesting couple of days, but not bad. Everything's been pretty fun. We've one thing I wanted to mention, as I was saying earlier about the video segment. The video segment's going to be weird, but the Patreon thing is, the Patreon video is still not done because I was working on moving it over to the other to the new deal, and honestly, I'm not that crafty at it yet, so it's going to take a minute to get it done, which I have carved out some time to get it done tonight. So I'm going to get that jammed and get that fixed up so that we can get the right patronizers in there. In the meantime, we do have a few new patronizers. If you don't know what a patronizer is, head over to the Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/Joel_C, JOEL_C, as in cookie, or chocolate, or karate if it's spelled incorrectly. If you've never been there, it is a very helpful site. It's how we crowdfund, essentially. We're crowdfunding this, and Now that we have about 80 people in here, I wanted to mention, and I'm actually going to make a post about it. Patreon is changing how they're, it's not necessarily how they're charging people, it's how they're processing their Patreon, their Patreonization or whatever. So they had a processing fee that they were passing on to the creators, or whatever you want to call them, contributors or whatever. They decided to change it. They decided to change it, so they're gonna announce it on the 18th. But they wanted I think they sent it out to let people know so that they'd be able to like, you know, let their people know or something. I don't know. I'm not 100% why they sent out a thing ahead of time. So what they're doing is, and hold on, I don't want to misquote them. I gotta find the email here real quick. Here it is. Okay. What they're going to do is they're going to charge 35 cents to the patrons for each individual pledge starting December 18th. I don't know why it's December 18th. This doesn't make any sense, but that's when it's going to go out. So they're kind of slightly changing how things are going on there. And I don't know realistically what this means. I think, like, if you're a $1 Patreon, you pay 35 cents extra for the processing. And you know, this is not something I expected. I on my end, I've been paying the processing. And so I don't know why they're changing it. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if this is going to really upset people or not, because you'd be going like, oh, I had $1 and now I'm being charged $1.35 or something. You know, I can't tell you why that's going on, but that is something that is happening. But I still think it's a great service. I think it's still a good company. I think they were trying to just streamline how the charges, how the processing fees were going, because they were changing for each person out there. That it kept changing every single month how much we were paying in the processing fees. So I think they wanted to just streamline it this way, that they go, it costs them 35 cents, so they're actually just going to charge 35 cents for the processing. I don't know. But that happened today. And I've noticed that people have done some posts about it and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of hit it on the head right away, and just let people know, and just let people know what's going on. So Mary Beth Mabe says maybe Patreon's YouTube channel got demonetized. It doesn't have anything. Patreon doesn't have anything to do with YouTube. YouTube is just the platform that we use here to broadcast on. Patreon is a separate entity, but they wanted to streamline. I think they wanted to streamline how the processing fees were going down, essentially, so that it makes more sense, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know why they were doing it. What plants would you recommend for a 10-gallon with a beta and a white cloud? Zach, any plants? Any plants for that? Patrick's Aquatics, hot take. Does Patreon have any Patreonizers? Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know if Patreon has patronizers. I guess the patronizers would be like the creators, right? Yeah. Yeah, so they do have patronizers, because they take 5%, basically, which is way less than YouTube's 45%. You still get the pledged amount, though, right? Yep. Yeah, Wyatt. It's minus the processing and taxes, basically. So whatever that comes out to after the fact is whatever it comes out to after the fact. So I just wanted to let you guys know a heads up that that's what's happening. I still think it's a lot better. It's a lot better deal for everybody involved, especially when you just look at it in terms that, like, if you come on and super chat, which I totally, if you guys want to super chat, that's totally cool. It's totally up to you. I think the Patreon's like a much better deal for everybody involved. That if you're going like, hey, I wanted to do a $50 super chat or something, you could easily just do a once a month $50 Patreon, and you could be, or okay, hold on, let me use one of my own one of my own standard things on the Patreon. Let's say you wanted to do $10 super chats a month, right? On maybe not my channel, but maybe on somebody else's channel, somebody that's just really cool or whatever. Well, I have what's called a producer tier. That's the $100, right? And let's say you wanted to do 10 super chats a month and get some answers for things or whatever. Here's what's cooler about the Patreon thing is that I could set a tier that's the $100. That's $100 a month. That's a producer, and I'll make a whole entire stream of answering all the questions that you want me to answer, or I'll make it about birds or robots or whatever. So it's you get one whole hour video a month that will be your topics, as long as they aren't like dirty and disgusting or whatever. But if you wanted to learn about kimchi, or like you want me to make a sirloin or something and show you how to do it, we could, it'd be an hour-long video for you guys. So that's why I think it's a much better deal. I think it's a much better deal for everybody involved. And it at some point in time, it also shows like verifiable numbers, right? So we have 137 patronizers, I think, right? Patronizers, yeah, patronizers. So we have all those, and so like, let's say I went to Fluval and I was like, hey, I make these videos, I got 6,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers or whatever. They could go like, yeah, I don't know if they're really real or not, you know. But the patronizers are legitimately real because we have verified that they actually do exist month to month to month, right? So that would be something that I could go to a company and go like, well, here's 137 people that for sure want to show up that all that's going on. So if you want to, if that's something that you want to do, feel free to do it. It's a pretty cool setup, I think, for everybody involved. I think it's a much cooler setup, and it makes a lot more sense to me. But we do have some new patronizers I want to give a quick shout out to. Wyatt Hickson just upped his from $1 to $5. Oh, thank you, Wyatt. That's dope. Kevin Derbyshire's brand new today with the $1 patronization. Adam D was on the 4th. When was the 4th? Monday. And also a pledge from Donnie Hill on Monday for $1. Oh, that one was deleted. We do have some people that get that delete theirs, but you know, people like Sarah's Little Fish pledged $1 on December 1st, right at the 1st of December, getting in there to get ready for the holiday season. And Jamil Mohammed also pledging $1, which is dope. They're not in the little video segment, so I just wanted to give a shout out to them, and also an explanation of what's going on with the Patreon. So if you guys do get an email from them and all that kind of stuff, or maybe you missed the email, I know that my email from them in regards to them changing the stuff got sent to my spam folder for whatever reason. So I had to go find it. I had to go find the email that they sent me. So, you know, I know it's weird. I know it's weird. Oh, and Eve Deigel just posted up on the Patreon. Oh, that's the cool part of the Patreon. You can post pictures and stuff up on there too. If you're part of the Patreon community, you can post community pictures up there. Eve Deigel just posted a picture of a bunch of his cherry shrimps. Lots of babies swarming around in his tank. Those are cool little. He's got some crazy little ceramic things for I wonder who makes those. They look like bent Chinese stars for the little housing. And we got a super chat there from the glass boxes in New Zealand. That is Mr. Joel Gillett himself, one of the 6 New Zealanders. I heard that their population, they had a giant population boom in New Zealand, and they're now up to 6 people. He's one of the 6. Cheerio, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for the I don't even know what that word is. That's not a word. If I miss your guys' chat, the Patreon and Darkstar Arts, my email, all that kind of stuff is a great way to get a hold of me. And we actually have, I guess, as a quick segue before we get into the talking about Reefy McReeferton stuff, we actually had a post. Where did that go? Which was kind of weird because she commented on. Let's see, what does this do? Oh, whoops. We don't want to do that. Okay. Actually commented on the poll, which was a weird way to ask a question. But Elizabeth Rogers was asking, I need another scrubbing algae off my plants again. I need other options. Joel, could I clarify my dosing of Excel for BBA? Okay. I've been over this a bunch of times, and I'm going to, at some I will type in the response. Hopefully she's watching, Elizabeth, wherever you are. So, the dosing on the bottle itself, and she explains it here, is on initial use or after a major 40% water change, more than 40% water change, use 1 capful, 5 milliliters for every 40 liters or 10 U.S. gallons. Okay, so for every 10 gallons, you want to put a capful in, okay? Now, for treating for BBA, as I've said, you want to do triple the dose every day for, and I would say a week. This generally works after about 4 days or 5 days, but you want to keep doing a triple dose every single day of whatever that measurement comes out to. So 1 capful per 10 U.S. gallons. So in my 240, it's going to take 24 capfuls plus the sump. So 30 capfuls. Which is a pain in the butt to measure, but you got to just measure by the milliliters. You know what I'm saying? So a 500 milliliter bottle for my 240. I'll generally end up using the whole thing by the end of the month. And the thing is, the reason you don't want to dump the whole thing in there is that the glucuronide that is in there, that is the algicide in Excel, well, it has a shelf life, essentially. It has a half-life, and it won't last a real long time. So you want to just keep doing it every day until it turns red. The BBA will go from that weird sort of greenish brown color, whatever that it is, it will suddenly go red. So just to give you a little contrast, maybe your color, ooh, I hit my jar. I'm glad that didn't break. It will go from this color to this color, and then it will turn gray and fall off and be gone. Just bear in mind that when it does turn red, fish think it's food, and they'll eat it, and I think they actually like it. They've been doing pretty good. Dan Squires, first time here. Been trying to make it forever. Finally worked out the time difference. Wish I had loads of money. I would fund you for sure. I will donate as soon as I have more than 10 quid myself. Well, Dan, funding is not a requisite to be a fan. You don't have to do that. There are lots and lots and lots of ways to support the show, and it sounds like you're in the UK, which the easiest way now in the UK is that if you want to support the show and you happen to be somebody that goes to Amazon, you can click through the Amazon banner, and it now works for Canada and the UK. And some other country, which I can't read the language. I think it's Germany. I can't read it because they've been emailing me in German. I suppose that I could Google Translate it, but it just seems like a lot more fun to keep trying to figure it out. And Spain also, which I can read Spanish, so that one's actually super easy to figure out. I'm sure someday I'll get a Portuguese one and have no idea what's going on, because I'll think like, these guys are like trying to holla at me in weird Spanish, but it's not. But that's not, you know, chipping in money's not the only way to support. Showing up, watching, hitting the like button, busting on to Facebook, sharing the videos out there, doing that kind of stuff. There's just a million ways to support, and they definitely don't cost money. So I've had a lot of people go like, man, I want to be able to kick in. Thank you very much to everybody that is available to kick in. If it's not available to you to kick in, don't stress. Don't freak out. Don't do it. Because there's lots of ways, like showing up here and chatting and all that kind of stuff. And I do realize that we're super late to get to the video, so we're just going to get to it. All right. Oh, Dan Squire says, cool, would still love to help, though. Well, that's one of the crazy things with the Patreon is that you can do $1 a month. You can do $1 a month. So if that's something that you think you could afford, you can. If you don't think you can afford it, don't worry about it. Mary Beth May would be a perfect example that, you know, she's posted up on there. She's living on kind of a tight budget, which is understandable. So am I. and that was more of a nervous laughter. I wasn't laughing at anyone. I'm just poor right now, but whatever. It doesn't matter. So the what she actually did was genius. I think this is brilliant. She goes, I want to give you $1 a month, but I'm not sure when I'm going to have $1 a month. So what she did was she saved up $12 and did one $12 Patreon, which is amazing, because then there you go. It's like, oh, there you go, dollar a month for the whole year. Boom. Which I think, I was like, oh man, you're much smarter than me. I wouldn't have thought of it that way, but it's fantastic. James Neesham's like, oh, don't worry, Dan. He's got you with the £5. Oh, it's £5. I don't even know how much pounds are these days. How much are pounds these days? I don't know. Pound of gold? Pound of silver? Oh, there's me dancing. What a nincompoop. Well, that's the end of that portion of that video. Let's go on to this video here where I'm digging around. Hope I don't scratch my butt or nothing. We didn't edit it. So yeah, so the first step obviously here is to pull out all of the rock that I'm going to be I'm scaping. The right-hand side of the tank is, I wouldn't say done. It's definitely not done. I've done some work on it, so it looks more like how I want it to look. And it definitely needs more work for sure. But I wanted to give you guys a look at some of the stuff that I do here, which is some of it's dangerous, some of it's not. Some of it's pretty simple, and some of it's a little bit confusing. But the we have to remember that nature doesn't make things that fit into rectangular boxes. It just really doesn't. And so that's where the human intervention comes in, and it's time to attach these rocks together one way or another. Now, there are lots of methods out there. There are lots of things out there that you can basically attach your rocks in different ways, right? And it's not, there's not one way to do this. There's a bunch of products out there that that are available, like Reef glues and stuff like that. I've used them over the years, and I've found some of them to be good and some of them to be bad. The one I would recommend if you were to really go out and get a specific Reef glue is the Seachem one. It is the easiest one to use personally, and it really is not a difficult product to mess with. If you've ever glued anything with glue before, that's pretty much how it works. Me personally, I don't like to wait on things to ship or any of that kind of stuff. So I don't. I just use the super glue. You know what I'm saying? I just use the super glue. you know, that I get from the Home Depot, because I'm at Home Depot all the time buying plumbing parts, electrical parts, whatever. I'm always there all the time. So when I'm low, I just grab an extra tube off the shelf. It's normally like $4, and it has a tendency to last a long time. I know it's aquarium safe because I've used it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again a billion times, whether it's fresh water, salt water, any of that kind of stuff. And we gotta. This video is getting long, buds, so I'm gonna fast forward it just a little bit. And Jeffro with the super chat, a $12 super chat, saying, I already feel smarter. I'm feeling thankful. Thanks for your time and knowledge. It has been very helpful since I found you and your channel. Hope this helps you bring us more internet. Watch out, you guys. We're always going to be bringing more internet. I'm going to do the best that I can, you guys, to just keep bringing internet. I am... As a full disclosure, I'm a little bit stressed out right now. That's probably why my neck hurts, because I'm probably sleeping like a bat or some kind of strange creature. I'm probably hanging from the ceiling, or I don't know. We'll have to ask Vicky if I'm contorted in some kind of weird shape when I'm asleep, because I'm hyper stressed out about bills and Christmas and all the stuff that's going into it right now, and I just have to meditate and take some deep breaths, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Think about nothing. Think about pitch blackness. Just think about breathing. But I'm encouraged, and things are going well, and one of the fun things about doing some internet stuff, just remember that we are lucky that Mr. Corey actually came back from Hawaii. And speaking of that, just as a caveat for tomorrow's show, if you guys are excited when me and Corey and the Aquarium Co-op get together and we start doing our crazy nonsense, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow's live stream, I think we have 2 of them tomorrow. I'm not sure 100% about that. The only one that I am sure of is the 4 o'clock one on this channel, okay? Do everything you can to share it out, get it going for tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Tomorrow's the 7th of December, Thursday, 4 o'clock Pacific time. Tomorrow, I will be up at the coop again, and I'm calling all of the internet forces, all of y'all, to show up tomorrow. Get stoked for tomorrow. And show up for it. Show up for it in force tomorrow. Go crazy. If you fall asleep today, not a big deal. Tomorrow, be on the ball. Be ready for it. Everybody be Frank Dominguez tomorrow, okay? Just when you sit down in your yard and you go crisscross applesauce and you silence the internal demons that you have whilst you focus on the breath. Just think, I am Frank Dominguez. I am Frank Dominguez. Ah, peaceable silence, Frank Dominguez. Right? So hopefully everybody gets all excited and zazzed for that. For tomorrow, and do it, because I'm going to be up there, and I'm not sure what Corey and I are going to talk about, but if you guys got something that you want us to talk about at length, figure it out, get it together, and be ready for it. Like I said, this video is poorly edited. It's basically unedited. I have to fast forward for me wandering off because I didn't cut any of those parts out. But the super glue that I use here is actually the DAP version, which is almost always linked in the bottom underneath the videos here at any point in time. It's almost always in the description down below. So it's almost always down there. So if you guys are really wondering what the glue is, that's always in the description down there. So you guys can always click on that. I made it permanent. I made it permanent down there so you guys would be able to click on that and be able to check that out. So The other portion that I'm using here to attach the rocks is actually, it's actually acrylic rod, okay? I got this stuff super cheap from a local acrylic store, which I always recommend. If you guys are going to do some kind of acrylic products, find an acrylic company or store or somebody like that near you, and you can always go there and get super cheap chunks of acrylic. If you go to Home Depot, if you go to Lowe's, if you go to Menards, if you go to whatever hardware store or any of that kind of stuff, and you start looking around to try and find some acrylic chunks or anything like that, you are going to get stabbed viciously in your wallet, and you're going to go, I don't understand how anybody ever does anything with this product. It's crazy. It's like more expensive than gold, you know. It's very odd. It's crazy. But if you can find a local store that makes stuff out of acrylic, you can go there and find all their cut ends and the pieces that are left over. Barbara Jackson says, like tap plastics. Exactly. Just like tap plastics. If you have a tap plastics near you, you could go there. I don't have a tap plastics near me anymore, but I used to go to tap plastics all the time. I used to just wander around in there and look at all the marvelous acrylic. Now, the one that I have near me now is, I think, like KJ's acrylics or KT or something like that. I'm not sure. It's like 2 initials or something. But I went down there. I got 2 6-foot rods for $8 because they had, I think they cut them off, or like the end was broken or something like that. And so they were like, look, we just need to get rid of it. It's over here in the junk pile. And I was like, yeah, those are the ones I want. And I just cut them down into 3-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch pieces. Basically, I just cut them down on the chop saw. Nothing too difficult. Just remember to wind up the saw fully and go slowly when you cut it. Do not chop down on it like a maniac. I almost always get people go like, I don't understand how you said to cut this stuff on my chop saw. All it did was shatter. You know, yeah, because you slammed down on it. You just got to go slow. You just have to remember to go slow, and it'll work out fine. So it is pretty easy to cut. It's pretty cheap to get it. And this tool that I'm using here is actually a hammer drill. I know that most people don't have a big hammer drill. It's a jackhammer drill combo, okay, is what this is. It's used in masonry. It's used for setting lag bolts and anchors into concrete. And most people don't have one of these. I get it. I fully understand. I don't know who this is, so I'm not going to answer that. But most people don't have that tool at their disposal, right? I get it. Maybe you know somebody who has one. But you could always go to, most tool stores and stuff like that have a rental setup that you could go down there and rent one for a day or something along those lines. Bear in mind, this is a minor, mildly dangerous tool, and sometimes things like this happen. And it's coming up. Was it that rock? No. Maybe it wasn't that rock. Well, one of my rocks shattered. I think, it's coming up. Uh-oh, I hope the video didn't cut it off. I think this is where it shatters. This is where, yeah, boom, shattered. I knew something was going to happen pretty soon there in that video. But when it shatters in two like that, it's normally a good sign that that is a man-made piece, and I don't necessarily want that thing in my aquarium anyhow. Or sometimes you just hit a spot in the rock where it breaks into two. And more often than not, the man-made ones break like this. This one actually isn't man-made, but sometimes they just shatter like this, and them's the breaks sometimes. So you do have to remember to have some intestinal fortitude if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff in your reef or any of that kind of stuff, because your bigger rocks may or may not get broken. But essentially what I'm doing is drilling holes in and kind of cleaning out the holes. Then I'm using that acrylic rod. I'm super gluing the rod in, right, in place into the first rock, and then I'll drill a hole into the second rock and super glue the rod from the top and the bottom to make these big stackable rocks that go up high. My my aquarium, this aquarium isn't the deepest aquarium in the world, but it is fairly deep. It's over 30 inches deep, and So we need to get some elevation. Now, there's two ways to get the elevation. It's attach rocks together like this, or do a crazy Jenga thing. Now, if you've ever played Jenga, when you stack up the boards and do all that kind of stuff, the downside to doing the Jenga stuff, sometimes the Jenga falls over. Okay, and when it falls over, it kind of sucks, because in a reef tank, you could squish some of your corals. You could squish a fish, you could squish a shrimp, you could squish something, or you could dramatically scratch the hell out of your acrylic tank or even your glass tank. Now, so you don't necessarily want to do Jenga all the time, although it does come into play from time to time. But the great, and as you can see, I had to take this rock off. And at some point in time, I re-glued it, or... Oh, no, I didn't have to re-glue it. I basically lifted it up here because the glue was actually just super thick. And one of the good things about super glue, it's water activated. So I had all the glue on there. I just had to kind of press it into place. And then once I stuck it under the water and got it in there, it actually dried super fast, maybe like 3 minutes or something like that. So that's a little bit of a hot tip. If you are super gluing things and having problems with them adhering, I would just lay it on thick, get it in a good spot, and then get it under water. And the water just continues and continues and continues to dry it super fast. So that's basically what I had to do there when it fell off. It fell off and kept falling off, so I just piled it on pretty thick and then got it under the water, which then it managed to stay, which is good. Let's see. Oh, the chat's going buck wild. What's going on over here in the chat? Jay's Aquatics is asking, Kessel versus Fluval 2.0. I put my money on Fluval 2.0, literally. The amount of light is probably equatable, and the dispersion for it covering the whole entire tank instead of it being a spotlight is pretty freaking awesome. If I was going to do Kessels on the 240, the 240 gallon aquarium I have is 8 feet long, so I'd probably need at least 5 of them, if not 6, to get the full spread on there from the Kessel spotlights. Each one of them being $200 would have been $1,000, which is an astounding amount of money for some lights. And but the Fluval Fresh and Plant 2.0 came in at about $400, which is not nothing. It's not zero, but that's when you compare $400 to $1,000, and getting a real dispersion rate. They don't have any fan noise, the Fluval ones, and they're waterproof. They're waterproof, so if they fall into the aquarium for whatever reason, my money's on those. My money's on those, and I like them. So I'm very happy with those lights. I'm stoked that I got them. I wish somebody would send an email to Fluval and tell them how much I talk about their lights constantly, and how they should send me some extra lights to try out, because I got to try them out, because I'm confused about trying them out. They should send me some of their Reef lights. That's what they should do. Hey, Fluval, you tripping? Fluval's tripping! Send me some lights, Fluval. Do it. Do it, you weirdos. Oh, Patrick Fulton. $1.69 patronization during the show. Oh, we got 2 patronizers during the show today. Oh, I guess we got one new one. Wait. No, we got one. Wait. No, Kevin Derbyshire. Kevin Derbyshire. That name is amazing. Derbyshire. It's okay. I love that name. That's fantastic. Kevin Derbyshire. Wyatt Hickson busted it up to $5, and $1.69 from Patrick Fulton during the show. How wild is that? You could be getting wild, patronizing during the show, and that's right. Fluval's tripping. Everybody email Fluval. No, screw it. We ain't got time. We ain't got time to be emailing Fluval. Well, you could, if you want. But the important part is to be here for the show tomorrow, because it's going to be me and Corey. And if you guys aren't happy about that, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're unhappy about it, guess what? We're just going to keep doing it. And if you're happy about it, guess what? We're just going to keep doing Fluval's tripping! Don't worry about Fluval. They're tripping. I love those guys. But I love those lights, and if I was going to put my money on anything, I would put it on those because I literally did. So, let's see here. Oh, God, watching the insurance customer service call window be weekdays, 4 to 5 Pacific. Yeah. The insurance call window is madness. That was not them. I'm not sure who that was. I think that's a callback on a possible building that I'm supposed to build, whether I'm going to build it or not. But if it is, I don't know. We find out Friday. We find out Friday if I'm going to go build that. If I'm going to go build that building or not. Because, yeah, that's life. Let's see here. I want to catch up with the chat a little bit, and I don't even know if we even really got to talk about reefs today, but I tried. I tried to talk about reefs and reef rocks. There's gonna be a bunch of people that come and watch this video later and like, this Dingleberry is an idiot. And I would agree with them. I'd be like, you're correct, sir. Thank you for your time. Let's see. Gabriel Garretto. Hey, man, do you know about BAT, Basic Attention Token? It's a system to donate to YouTubers with a dedicated cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. No, I haven't heard about that. I have not heard about that. That sounds intriguing. But no. I haven't heard about that, so I'll probably check it out at some point in time. Thanks for the hot tip. Hot tip from Gabriel Garretto. Having the same struggle, Joel. DX job worries me this time of year, and wow, it's not fun. Mellow Moogle? I'm not sure. Oh, like the Christmas and end of the year and all that. Yeah, it's just a stressful time of year. It's just going to be a stressful time. I know we'll get through it. We'll have a fantastic time, but it's always stressful. Michael Moncur, hey, everybody. Catch the last 10 minutes of the stream again. Right on. Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. And we didn't seem to have a ton of questions. At Gary's Aquatics, is 5 to 7 a week on average not enough? Oh, I see. Gary's Aquatics was saying, hey, Corey, what's up? I really miss your videos. Corey posts more videos than me. So I hope that, I don't know. He makes a lot of videos. He makes more videos than I do. So I would probably, I don't know, be cool with that. But I don't know. That's weird. He makes tons of videos. Oh, it's never enough because he needs more. Oh. Yeah, it is a lot, Corey. Corey does a lot of stuff, so I wouldn't miss him. But I've yet to been able to figure out how to do a 24-hour stream or anything like that. But he did an 8-hour stream on Thanksgiving, which is buck wild. If 8 hours of him wasn't enough, then just replay that. Just replay that over and over again, and then that'll work out. Let's see here. Oh, Gary says I'm a workaholic, so I miss a lot of Corey and Corvus. Oh, you can always watch it later. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the reasons I started doing this long format stuff is for people like me that do work a lot of hours, pretty solitary. I do a lot of time solitary work and stuff like that. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to like faux radio shows, like not real, like faux radio. I want to say, like, it's not satellite radio. It's more like internet radio, if that if that sort of makes, if that makes sense at all. Does that make sense? Internet radio. Because it's not like satellite radio, because it's not like that. But I listen to a ton of podcasts and all those things, so that was one of the big reasons for switching over to this kind of show, is going like, well, I could do like a really quick cut 7-minute 5-minute video along those lines and stuff like that. But I'd rather do a long format thing that is more interactive with you guys instead of just going like, oh, hey, I can check out this thing I can do with my saw, and I can sand this, and it's a 4-minute video. What up? So hopefully you like the show, and maybe we'll get a sponsor someday that really wants to do a big produced show that's 4 minutes long, and maybe we'll do that too. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure that out one of these days. Oh, Tim Lewis said, "Screw it. He's not gonna. He ain't gonna super chat. He's gonna bust his up to 25." Tim Lewis is moving up the ranks in the top contributors. He's getting closer. He's getting closer to the top. Thank you, Tim Lewis, with the up in the patronization. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Let's catch up on some of the chat here while I get to the end of the show. We're over an hour, and that's when I get ready to start calling it. I know that I missed a ton of comments and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see too many people asking too many questions. Patrick's Aquatics is water boxes himself. Yep. I knew that, Patrick. You didn't need to tell me. I knew it was you. I knew it was you all along. It's good to see you. Patrick's Aquatics in the chat right there with the little hot pink clownfish. That's one of my OG. That's one of the OGs. He was around when Darkstar Aquatics was a website, and we had a 24-hour chat on there and stuff like that. He was around for that, which gives you an idea how long Mr. Patrick's Aquatics has been around. And mad props to Patrick for hanging in there. You know, for hanging in there. Ella Gregory just emailed Fluval for me. Oh, cool. We should email him and just be like, Fluval's tripping! And just let him know that Fluval's tripping. And they'll just be like, I don't understand. We just got like 100 emails from people that said Fluval's tripping. I don't get it. Dan Squire says you got to have patience with this hobby so we can wait. Wait, what are we waiting for? Let's see. At Dank Tanks, there should be 10 a.m. tomorrow unless traffic destroys Joel. There's no way. There's no way traffic is going to get the better of me. My truck has already crashed, man. So I think the kind of rules, the rules of the road are kind of wide open now to me. It doesn't really matter what happens. What is my truck going to get? More trashed? Or crashed? Trashed or crashed? I guess it could be either. It could be the same thing. So we're going to do a 10 a.m. Real Fish Talk tomorrow. I'm not sure what channel that's going to be on. I would guess, I don't know. I don't want to put words into anybody's mouth, but Aquarium Co-op has 2 channels. It has Jimmy from Aquarium Co-op and Aquarium Co-op. Pretty easy. There's 2 of them. So Real Fish Talk tomorrow will be on one of those. So just subscribe to both of those and turn on your notifications so you know what's up. You know, that's just a smart play, right? That's a smart play, how to do it. We had a bunch of people chip in today. Thank you very much, you guys. That's dope. That's dope, man. I gotta meditate more. I'm only getting in like, I'm only getting in a little bit, and my stress level's too high. My neck, my back, my buns, and my crack. Right? Is that how that goes? I gotta do some deep thinking, some deep thoughts. Deep thoughts while I lay down on the ground or something. Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op is where Real Fish Talk will be tomorrow. Cool. So if you're not subscribed to Jimmy from Aquarium Co-op, click over to that. Make sure we're on there. And make sure you're on there. Bring it. Bring it at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Bring it at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Come prepared. Come prepared. Come strong. Honestly, bring it. Even if it's already been brought in, continue to bring it. Steel Nebula is asking what all is put on the podcast. I created an account just to check them out. The Real Fish Talk, actually, we normally pick a subject and then we run into it for an hour. We have a little bit of fan interaction and that kind of stuff. We basically kind of filter through it. We kind of filter through the comments and all that kind of stuff to make sure that we're you know, on topic. You know, we always want to engage and answer everybody's questions and stuff like that. Sometimes people just don't have the exact question in a timely manner necessarily that is like, oh, right now we're talking about and I'm drawing a blank like an idiot. Let's say we're talking about neocaridinus, right? We're talking about little freshwater shrimps, and somebody's like, my canister filter's broken. You're like, now is not the time. Though we do want to help and we do want to engage and that kind of stuff. Like I said earlier, one of the great ways to do that is through the Patreon. You can post on the Patreon, and I'll probably answer your question, just like I did with Elizabeth. What was her name? Oh, now I feel like an idiot. Elizabeth Rogers, we answered earlier. And I'll definitely run into those, like with the daily shows and stuff like this, that people have questions. The Patreon's perfect for that. If you are one of those people that's inhibited from the ability to be on the Patreon, you can always go to darkstararts.com and email me from there. It's Joel@darkstararts.com. Super easy. Joel's my name. Darkstar Arts is the game. And I got to sell these paintings out here. I got to get these out of here. I got to get some other stuff going. I got some new canvas stretched out, and I'm going to start making something. I'm going to start making something for myself, you guys. I don't feel like doing anything that, you know. I do have one commission that I'll be working on that you guys probably won't get to check out until it's done. It's going to be a big old shrimp. It's going to be a big old shrimp action. Well, a medium shrimp action, not a giant one. Medium shrimp. Seemed like I was going to say big, but it's not big. It's going to be medium. Medium shrimp. Uh-oh, what happened? But I definitely am going to be making some of that stuff. I am going to be making some furniture coming up here fairly soon as a just as a precursor here, just to let you guys know we will be making some furniture, doing some of that stuff too. So beware of the not necessarily 100% aquarium all the time. We actually are, we'll be diversifying because there are other projects that need to be handled, right? So, and you know, there are some personal things that I need to get to, which will, I'll be able to include you guys in on some of them, but that, I don't know. But just to warn you that some other content is coming that may or may not be 100% fish related. Which every once in a while I get people that are like, dude, I don't understand, it's the aquarium channel. My channel's my channel. I'll put on it whatever the heck I want to. Like unboxing a new compound miter saw, which, oh, by the way, is what a delightful tool. And you know what I'm happy about? I got a new table saw. So prepare yourself for an unboxing video of the table saw. So just wrap your minds around it and get it ready, because that's going to happen. It's coming up. It's coming up very soon. And we like making stuff. We like DIYing things. We like building things at home that do take a lot of time. Something I'm super jazzed about. One of our patronizers. And James Hirsch. James Hirsch is one of our patronizers, and he's carving like Santas and stuff out of wood. And I'm super zazzed to see some of those paintings or carvings, not paintings. What am I talking about? Some of those carvings. And I do want to answer a couple of questions. One of the questions from yesterday's stream, which was John Williams, who commented, actually, high-pressure sodium bulbs are available and quite cheap. They looks like they suffer greatly in the color spectrum, but they work great for penetration. Well, unfortunately, the bulbs that he posted on there are the 70-watt high-pressure sodium lamps that do not work over an aquarium. So if you'll notice, as you go through the aquarium, the link that he posted on there, which will be quickly deleted, he did post that on there. Those are 70-watt bulbs that aren't going to work for the application for an aquarium. Okay, so first of all, wrong bulbs. Second of all, wrong spectrum, which is why they're so cheap, because they are cheap lights that you can't do very much with. Okay, if you're actually looking for the proper spectrum and a high pressure sodium bulbs and stuff like that, they do run to be quite expensive, especially if you're looking for something like an actinic bulb, right? If you're looking for something that is in between 6,500K and 10,000K, quite expensive, and not just some crappy old bulb right out of there. And so, as a quick response to that, high pressure sodiums are expensive, and I'd like to just address that real quickly in case anybody's watching yesterday's show and goes like, oh, hey, what's this guy talking about? And then they check the link, and then they realize, oh, what's he talking about? These are super cheap. Well, those are the wrong bulbs. That's why they're super cheap. All right. As you guys know, the whole reason I do this show is the interaction with you guys. The whole reason for doing it is to have the interaction with you guys, to answer some questions, to talk about some of my experiences, my pitfalls, my failures, and my successes. That's the whole reason that we're here. And so that was one of the reasons for the light show yesterday, is to talk about some of the stuff that I failed at miserably, but and what happened as things went along. But we're definitely on the up and up. We're headed towards the end of the year. We're making a big push. We're very excited. Looks like Gary Aquatics got to go. Keep on keeping on the fish fam. Thank you everybody for showing up tonight. We had a fantastic little stream here, even though the video wasn't exactly what I was hoping. And but hopefully it gave you guys kind of an idea of some of the work that really goes into messing around with the reef and stuff like that. Even though it is my hobby tank, and I do enjoy it. I do enjoy messing with it. It does get stressful sometimes when corals are doing weird stuff, and rock is going the wrong way, and things are looking funky, and my coralline's not growing as fast as I want it to grow. But it really is my hobby tank, and I have a great time. Quick shout out to Glass Boxes, James Neesham, and Jeffro for your super chats today. Thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully you had a fun hour here while we talked about fish stuff and all the nonsense and whatnot. As you can see, Vicky Toria has showed up in the chat. What is up, my dear? Love you very much, sweetie pie. She must be headed this way because she's probably finished up with work, which means time for me to get on to some supper. Speaking of that, don't forget, you could make me make cooking videos if you go to the Patreon and get on the producer tip. Think about that for a minute. Football's tripping! All right, guys. Have a fantastic evening, because it's the middle of the week. And get excited for tomorrow. Get two pairs of Technicolor Dream Pants on. And get all excited. Oh, Cute Nix was here. Hey, man. Doug of the North is here. Hello, hey, man. You guys all sneaking in right at the end. But hopefully everybody has a fantastic night. Get well rested, because tomorrow is going to be an exciting internet kind of day. We got Real Fish Talk at 10 o'clock Pacific time. We've got this show at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We've got all sorts of shows going on tomorrow, all sorts of excitement. We'll probably cut some stuff with some saws. We'll freak out, write things down on paper, take measurements, important measurements, right? Figure out the shapes and sizes of things that may or may not be happening in the future, and we'll have a great, fantastic time. Prepare yourselves for later. This microphone is too good. I can't even blow up anybody's speakers anymore with the later part. It seems like almost like the video is frozen, but it's not.